Now, again, you're seeing things, I'm sure this education of being a city councillor has been way more than you ever expected. And this particular council, for some reason, we're not quite 100% sure, seems to have a ton of issues going on that's getting a lot of media scrutiny, ranging from online advertising policy to personnel issues to what happened with Mr. Robert Manaugh, the HR manager. How does it make you feel at times taking a lot of public pressure for a lot of decisions that are made in camera?
Yeah, I guess that's been my toughest thing to deal with since being elected to council, because I really feel like, you know, you're not able to let people know of what the issues you are dealing with in camera, and for very good reasons. We have reasons that we discuss personnel issues and things that we need to discuss behind closed doors that can't be public knowledge. But I guess not being able to let the public know, you know, how you vote and how some of your colleagues, or you know, how many people, the majority of us, share the same view around the council table. Not being able to express that to the citizens is a challenge on its own, and that is something that's difficult. Council is facing some huge challenges right now, and I'll be quite honest with you, as everybody knows, it hasn't been an easy road, and it's new for me, only being here in my second year now, and having to deal with the things that we're dealing with, as you're well aware, as well as the citizens are. But you know, Jamie, I go into City Council every meeting knowing that, allowing myself to believe that I'm doing the best that I can for the residents of Cornwall, and voting with my heart and not, you know, the way of the will of the way or the majority. As you'll see in live council meetings and recorded votes, I stand on my record of the way I voted, and I continue to plug away and hope that the challenges ease up as this term continues.
Do you think that more of these issues need to be out of in-camera, need to be an open session of council instead of being done behind doors? Did the governance exercise help you much?
Yeah, it did. You know, the governance session showed us what we are discussing behind closed doors is what we need, is the place that we need to discuss that stuff. And the stuff that, you know, we're able to bring to council, to the public session, we are doing that. And I think that, you know, sometimes it's the fear of the unknown for people when they don't know what you're discussing. It raises eyebrows and it, you know, puts some red flags up. But I'm confident with what we're discussing behind closed doors should be behind closed doors, absolutely.
Now, there have been a ton of issues surrounding the CAO, from him getting stuck in that parking at the soccer fields and calling a city truck to tow him out instead of a tow truck. At what point does it become a distraction from the day-to-day workings of council?
Well, I don't think that I'm here today to comment on my position with the CAO, and I think that I have no troubles communicating with the CAO as to how I feel, and we've had our own discussions, and I think that that's a decision that needs to come from council as a whole. And I just like when we talk about, you know, in-camera sessions, I certainly don't feel comfortable commenting on my position with the CAO, because right now the CAO is our CAO, and we need to work with him. And if there's things that aren't kosher, then we need to rectify those things to make sure that the city operates at full capacity, and that we're doing everything that we're set around that council table and elected around that council table to do for the residents of Cornwall.
Have you ever discovered that mail that was addressed or sent to council, either electronically or physically, did not make it to you as a councillor?
Yeah, I think I'm not going to comment on that, Jamie, because there's some issues around that, and I would rather wait and do that in the due process. Oh, for sure.
And what is the biggest challenge for you moving forward as a city councillor?
I think the biggest challenge moving forward as a councillor is that city council, that we get back on track with what we need to do and work towards our responsibilities as city councillors. And I think that we need to have our vision and go back to our strategic planning and really focus on where we need to go and how we're going to get there and how we're going to do it with the best people in our interest, which is the residents, moving them forward and moving this city forward. A lot of great things are happening in Cornwall, and you know that. You've commented on a lot of those great things that have happened. I think when we did my year in review, we touched on a few of those things. Yep. And you know, there's no doubt that record stands by itself. And Mr. Boileau with economic developments is doing an awesome job at promoting our city. And I think that sometimes it's easy for us to look at the negatives and not the positives, and sometimes the negatives feel like they're outweighing the positives. But I think as City Council we need to be on the same page. And when I say the same page, I mean we need to be working all in the same direction and not working, you know, one going one way and the other person going the other way. So I think that, you know, when you sit around the table with 10 different people and 10 different opinions, it's a challenge to do that sometimes.
All right, thank you, Maurice.
All right.